Hi folks, so I just wanted to do one last video. I'm going to start uploading them shortly. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to, I was going to leave this until tomorrow or something, but chances are by the time tomorrow comes and I've got a lot of other things on my mind and so on and what have you sort of thing, so I thought chances are I'll probably forget. And I thought whilst it's still fresh in my mind, I just wanted to talk again a bit about this video that or film, whatever you want to call it, that I saw at the Tate Britain today. All about the social media thing and what have you. Because I really liked what people were talking about, what people were saying. It was really interesting getting their perspective. Because you know, when you think about it, in some ways, from my perspective at least, anyway, and maybe some of my subscribers who are of a similar age to me will probably feel and think the same, perhaps, is that, you know, in some ways social media and the way society as a whole, and I'm talking all different societies around the world, you know what I mean, whatever country you're in or whatever, that social media has become a massive part of people's lives now. Particularly the youngsters, but I think even people my age, maybe people in between, you know, sort of like in their 30s, 20s, 30s and so on, and obviously the younger generations, that you know, and it's only been in the last, I don't know exactly, I couldn't honestly tell you exactly when all of these different platforms actually started. I guess a lot of them around about the 2000s. I mean, I'm not sure exactly how far back YouTube goes, or I'm honestly not too sure exactly. But when you think about it, it's only been, I would say off the top of my head, and correct me if I'm wrong, but round about 10 years. So it's only been about a decade that we've had these social platforms, and I guess that maybe in the last 5 years where they really started to take off more, you know, and really you know, sort of become so, I don't know if this is the right word, but ingrained in our society, and so the impact that that's having, I don't think there's been enough time, or people have done enough studies, or you know, into the sort of, you know, the impacts, you know, both positive and negative, to you know, because of the social, you know, what impact the social media has had on our societies and us as individuals, and so to watch that film and hear those people talk about those experiences and how they perceive themselves, and it was the different questions, and I can't remember exactly precisely the questions now. If I can find a link, if it's on like Tate Britain's website, I'll see if there's a link to it, see if it's actually on their website, and if it is, I'll stick a link in the description, then you guys, if you want to, can go and watch it for yourselves, and kind of try and get a better grasp of what I'm trying to talk about here, because I'm probably not explaining myself that well, perhaps, but you know, I just, like I say, it's really got me thinking, because, you know, a lot of the things they were saying, and I think about it, I think, no, that's so true, that, you know, it is in some ways, and it obviously it's different for each person. For some people, it might purely be about just having a particular persona on their online life, you know, where everything's happy and, you know, everything's great and they look great and all the rest of it, sort of thing, and then in their actual real lives, you know, things are up and down and whatever, just like in any, you know, normal everyday life in that sense, and you know, and because also it was about archiving our lives. Again, when you think about it, in the last, I don't know, 10, no, well, in fact more than that, you know, if you go back to sort of like, you know, from, I don't know, the 80s maybe onwards, you know, that we started to document ourselves individually more, you know, with the advent of camcorders and so on and so forth and so on. you know, before the actual advent of social media in that sense, but you know, that we've been documenting ourselves personally in our lives for a while now, but that's always been kept within. It's never been shared socially in a larger context. Do you know what I mean? You go on holiday with your little cine camera or whatever, and you film or you take the snaps, the holiday snaps or whatever. But that was always kept within that particular individual family or whatever, or individual group of people, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? And so you know, it's like we've been doing this for a while, but you know, when you think about it, if you go back even further, you go back generations, you know, back to our mum and dad's generation or their mum and dad's generations, that things were probably documented, but in a much more, obviously, very primitive way, sort of thing. And so, like I say, it gets me thinking that, like, you know, in this day and age, we've got such an array and way of you know, documenting our lives in a much more public way than we ever had, and just what kind of impact is that, and both on us as personally, but also as in a society sense, and you know, on a personal level, it's making me wonder and think. Because don't forget, also, I've been trying to get this documentary that I keep. You know, that's the thing with me. That's one thing you'll notice. And I'm sure that a lot of my longer term. Wow, that didn't sound right. My longer. Oh, for crying out loud! I can't think of a word. The people that have been following me longest, the longest, will probably know and be aware of the fact that. Sorry, I've completely stumped that up now because I've completely just. Oh, what was it? Where was I trying to say that? Yeah, to do with how I. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm completely screwed. Sorry, I'm trying not to swear as well. No, that's the other thing as well. It's about keeping it real as well. Yeah, so documenting ourselves and yes, sorry, the documentary. I think I was talking about the documentary thing, and then it made me think of all the different projects. Sorry, that's it. I've got myself back on track. Sorry. So the point is that, like, you'll notice with me that I start lots of different projects. I start projects, but sometimes I don't finish them. Some are just left on hold for years, in fact, sometimes. Now, I'm not happy about that. It's not a state of affairs that I'm quite... Because generally, I do like to normally finish something. If I'm going to start something, I want to finish it. But it's just very typical of me that I'll start something, get halfway through it, or sometimes I'll start something and then I'll finish it, but, you know, rather than pursue it a bit further, because it might go somewhere, or it might, you know, flower into something else and something useful, I'll just do that one particular project and then never go back to it again. So that's very, very typical of me, and you know, maybe I need to try and change that a little bit, because like I said, I've been harping on about this documentary that is supposedly getting together for nearly a year now, I think. I've got material, I've got some footage, but obviously that footage is getting older and older as I procrastinate on it more and more. But again, the point is that you know, it's like just how much of ourselves and how much of myself do I allow the public to see, in that sense. Do you know what I mean? And it's an interesting. I find it really interesting. I find it really, really interesting, because you know, you kind of open yourself up then to possible ridicule or whatever sort of thing, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Whatever's might or may not come of it. You know what I mean? Because you know, you can't say on the day at that moment. You know what I mean? You don't know until it comes. So, but I find it really interesting, really fascinating, and it's kind of like. And there's one of the people on that film said that you know, human beings, they're not just one facet. You know, there's many facets to a human being, and there's many, you know what I mean, parts to a human being. And I've said it often enough as well. We are very complex creatures. We're very complex, and you know, and I think we're also very, very, you know, we change and do you know what I mean? Evolve all the time, I guess. So yeah, like I said, well, I'm just really toying with this idea now. I'm thinking, it's a daunting idea. It's a daunting prospect as well, to be quite honest. But there's a part of me kind of thinking, do you know what? Maybe I should try and, because I was thinking that I might actually. I don't know how Joanne will feel about this because she doesn't want to be in front of the camera. But I was thinking, maybe I'll get Joanne whilst we're together. We're just doing our thing, whether we're in or out of the house. You know, just get Joanne just to film me in candid moments or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And me try not to be. Well, I'll presumably I'll be aware of it because it's a flipping big camera. It's not like it's you know, it's not a pinhole camera. It's, you know, so obviously if she's going to be filming me, I'm going to see that she's filming me. But just try to be as natural and try to ignore it and just interact with her as I would normally interact with her. I just find this whole thing's really fascinating. It's really, as you can notice, it's it's captured me, and it's fascinating me. So yeah. Anyway, so I'm not sure what's to come of this yet. Maybe something, maybe not. I don't know exactly. As I say, literally just come across this today, so I'm just trying to go through it in my head and think what I can and what I or should or shouldn't do or whatever. Yeah, and again, when I think about it, some of my videos, when you think about it, I've been quite raw. I've been quite real in that sense. You know what I mean? The self-harming video. I mean, obviously, like I said, and you know, I still feel that that was the right decision not to show the actual self-harming. I just felt that that wasn't the right thing to do. So, but I did film the immediate aftermath in that sense, you know, and I did speak straight after the self-harming. So, you know, so, and also that time when I filmed myself when I got really angry. You remember, with the light bulb in the flipping in the toilet in the bathroom. You know, and I was fuming with the damn thing, and I decided to film myself because again I felt it was important. And you know, when I think about it, I think these things are important. And okay, they might not win you a flipping bunch of friends, or you know, necessarily get you a load of people liking you or whatever sort of thing. But I don't know if that's the important thing. I don't think it is necessarily. I think it's really important to document stuff like that. Because hopefully people can learn, other people and myself, you know what I mean, that I can learn from it. And I don't know, I just think it's important because they are real things. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes they're ugly, sometimes they're not nice to see. And again, I'm not talking about putting gratuitous things on a video necessarily. I'm not talking about, you know, stuff like that, but just try to be real, you know. I think that's really important. Because, you know, when we start living behind fake personas and this, and I'm not saying that, you know, because I feel there's a lot of genuine people out there that are genuinely who they are when you see them on their videos. I think that's how they would be in their real life. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not saying, but I think there are some people that do kind of put what's their name on. But again, getting away from that sense of like, I'm only this way when I'm on the camera, but when I'm not on the camera, I'm this way. And then again, that's not to say that people are being false or untrue or what's saying, but I don't know, maybe it's important to have all of those things that make up that person to be seen and viewed on public media, on social media. I mean, like I say, this is just speculation. This is just off the top of my head. I'm not saying I'm right. And if you guys want to give some feedback on this, great. Do you know what I mean? Please give me some feedback. Give me your thoughts on what you think about this. Because, you know, like I say, to me, I think it's important. I think it's really important to express all the facets and the aspects of yourself, really, because you are trying to share. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, I think of certain people that I follow and watch, and how they say that they want to share their day-to-day lives with you. They do a daily vlog and what have you, and and blah blah blah. And you know, like I say, I think that it's absolutely brilliant and fantastic. But you know, and you know, I'm not saying that they shouldn't do it that way or whatever. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that for me, I think it is important to have even the down parts. Do you know what I mean? Even the not so nice bits. Do you know what I mean? Because that is real, and maybe in some ways I think it helps me. You know, it's like a therapy in a sense, in a way. It's like a way of looking inside, getting an insight into my own issues and so on. But also maybe that in turn could help somebody else as well, maybe. Do you know what I mean? So that's my general thoughts at the moment. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. As I say, I'd love to get some feedback from you guys. Please, you know, let me know what you think about this social media stuff and how we share with each other, and what we share, and should we share certain aspects of ourselves, or should that always remain in the private domain, or whatever sort of thing. Because, like I say, I think it's really, really interesting, really fascinating. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because I really need to get these videos up, and again, I haven't got a clue how long I've been talking for, but I'm sure it's a good while. And anyway, so I don't want to completely bore everybody, because as you've noticed, I love talking. There's something you know, I do quite a lot. So, okay, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks very much. Please like and subscribe, and I shall catch you guys later. And as I said, please look forward to the Manchester and Liverpool videos coming very, very soon. So I'll catch you guys later. Bye for now.